Alright guys, MTech Guy here, and today we're going to take a look at changing out the air filter on the little oneer, the E87 130i. Now the service intervals for the air filter from the factory are massive. It's something like 45,000 miles, 60 odd thousand kilometers. So to leave your air filter for that long before changing it is just crazy, because what happens over time is it starts getting clogged with dust, dirt and debris, and then in turn that starts reducing that airflow to your engine, which is the last thing you want. You know, it's going to affect your fuel economy, it's going to reduce it, and also it's going to reduce that power to your engine also. So today we're going to run through the steps required to change out your air filter, so let's take a look at the part. Okay, so here we have the part itself, genuine BMW article. There's the part number for anyone that's paying attention, and of course this is the traditional paper element. Now there are different types of air filters you can get for these cars, and I know a lot of you guys like to go for the performance type, the cotton type element that requires oiling. Now I've never been a huge fan of them myself. I always like to go for the traditional paper type element, and the main reason being that they don't really offer that much extra performance. It might give you a bit of extra induction noise, which does sound cool, but what can happen over time is that oil from the element itself can start transferring through your intake system, and it'll get on your MAF sensor and it can start causing issues. Like I say, I like to stick to the traditional type, but in saying that, I didn't find it easy in this part of the world sourcing an air filter for one of these cars, hence why I ended up going to the dealer in the end, and it wasn't cheap. So in the grand scheme of things, it might have been more economical to get the washable, reusable type high performance filter, and then just every time I come to change it out, give the MAF sensor a good clean as well. So in hindsight, when it comes to this car, I might go for that performance type air filter, the cotton type, in the future. But anyhow, this is what we've got today. So we'll take a look under the bonnet and the steps required to change it out. Alright, so here we are under the bonnet, and of course this being the 130i model, we've got the N52 3-litre engine. Now the air filter element itself lives underneath this cover inside this box here. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can either do it the easy way or the hard way. We can either just whip off the cover here, pull the old element out, refit the new one, lid back on, she's done. But what you'll normally find is inside this box here, it's going to be filthy, it's going to be full of dust and dirt and debris, so it's a good idea while you've got the element out to remove the whole box itself and give it a good clean out. Now whether you use a shop vac in position to do that, or do what I'm going to do today and pull the whole lot right out, and we're going to give it a good clean out inside, a good wash out, and then once it's dry we're going to refit it. But anyhow, either way, to start off with, we need to remove the lid itself, and to do that we need to remove these 7 bolts around the perimeter. They take a T25 Torx tool. Okay, so that's the lid removed. Now I've not owned this car for very long. This is the first time I've been in to change the air filter out, and look what I found. Turns out that it does have a performance air filter already in there. How about that, eh? So I'll carry on, we'll put the genuine one back in there, the paper element, and then I'll hang on to this, I'll give it a good clean, and it looks like, moving forwards, I can just give this a good wash and change it out each time, and like I say, I'll make sure I clean that MAF sensor also. And to be honest, that's the job that I like to do every time I remove the air filter anyhow. So to remove the element from the housing is quite straightforward. You just need to pinch the two sides of the clip down here together and slide it out. There we go, easy as that. And you can see them two clips either side there. Now if we take a closer look in the daylight here, you can see that in between all them pleats it's absolutely full of dirt and debris and bugs, so it's a good job we're getting it changed out today. Okay, so next up I'm going to remove the box. So to do that, there's 2 bolts here that take a 10mm socket, and then down the back here you can see we've got a Jubilee clip, a hose clamp. So we'll use a flat blade screwdriver just to back that off, and we'll pull that hose off. And then also we need to disconnect the electrical connector to the MAF sensor. So now that we've got the airbox removed, if we take a look inside, you can see it's looking pretty filthy in here. So before we do anything, what I'm going to do is remove the MAF sensor here. This is held in by 2 bolts. They both take a T25 Torx tool, so we'll get that out of the way, and then what I'll do is I'll spray this down with some heavy duty degreaser, give it a good scrub and a good rinse out, and then obviously let it dry before we refit it. And while the MAF sensor's out, we'll give that a bit of a clean also with some MAF sensor cleaner. Alright, so we've got our mass airflow sensor here, we've got our mass airflow cleaner, so what we're going to do is just give it a good spray right down in there, just to clean out the sensor, clean off any grease or residue off it, and then we'll let it dry before we refit it to the airbox. Alright, so now we're ready to refit the airbox, and as you feed it back into position there, just make sure that you relocate the intake hose back onto position. Then next up, we'll tighten up the hose clamp on the intake boot there, and also reconnect the electrical connector for the MAF sensor. And now we can refit the 2 mounting bolts to the airbox. So now we're ready to refit the new element. So what we're going to do is push it down nose first like that, and we're going to locate this round lip here into the end of the air filter element there, and then push down on the square section so that locates into the opening, and then once it's all seated, just push forward like that, and what that'll do is just click them 2 plastic tabs into position. You'll hear it click, and then it's all nice and secure and located. There we go. So now we're ready to refit the airbox lid, and when you do, just make sure that this intake boot here is fitted securely and correctly onto the opening of the lid there. Alright guys, so there we have it. That's the air filter changed out on the little 1 series, and like I say, you can just lift the lid off, pull the old filter out and put a new one in, but it's worth going to the extent that I did today to give it a good clean out. It's good practice. If you found the video interesting or useful, don't forget to give it a like, and make sure you go and check out the rest of my YouTube channel for more BMW DIY videos. I'm MTech Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.